There it is. One bicycle, one orchard, approximately 40 apples, and a rear wheel, behaving as though freedom is an optional European regulation. For anyone arriving late, we have come because this looked pleasant. Cole may touch the machinery if he wants. The Michaels have apparently been put in charge of caffeine and heckling. I shall perform the vital role of standing near the work and making several claims about talk. We stop when the wheel rolls honestly. Not beautifully, not historically accurately, honestly.
I brought coffee because the invitation said Michael, and when there are two Michaels, the courteous thing is not to hold an inquiry. 4 cups. Strong enough to make the apples nervous. I also brought this old wool blanket because the grass beneath an orchard always looks dry from standing height and turns out to have kept private arrangements with the dew.
I brought coffee because the invitation said Michael. And when there are two Michaels, the rational thing is to expose the naming system through duplication. Mine is in a dented metal flask. His smells civilized. Mine smells like it has information. I have brought no blanket because wet trousers are evidence that the universe has not become customer oriented.
And I brought my hands, though they haven't agreed to management. Let me turn the wheel once before we invent a bicycle philosophy.
Too late. Bicycle philosophy was founded in 1817 by a German who looked at walking and decided it needed bearings.
Rear brake is dragging. Cable returns slowly. Rim has a small wobble, but that isn't today's defendant. The invitation is exact. Free the wheel, eat the bruised apples, stop when it rolls honestly. So I'm checking whether the brake releases. I'm not inspecting the bicycle for hidden moral defects.
That already makes it unlike most film sets. On a film set, if a bicycle squeaks, 14 people develop a relationship with the squeak. One man owns it, another records it, a third says it was better in rehearsal, and an actor begins wondering whether the squeak is a note on his childhood.
And then someone establishes the Squeak Truth and Reconciliation Commission, whose first conclusion is that the bicycle needs a communication strategy.
Whereas this bicycle needs a 10mm spanner.
No, it needs the brake arm pressed inward while I unhook the noodle. If we reach for tools before contact, the tool gets to choose the problem.
Jeremy.
That's my line.
I know. I wanted to see how it felt. Irritatingly effective, and yes, before you ask, there is no electrical power to isolate on a bicycle, unless Malice has concealed a motor in the basket as part of a libertarian mobility plot.
If I had concealed a motor, the basket would not be full of apples. It would be full of pamphlets explaining why you imagined the apples voluntarily.
Give us one of those apples, Michael. The one with the bruise shaped like Australia.
Which, Michael?
The one holding it.
At last, an identity system based on observable conditions.
There, brake disconnected. Jeremy, spin it.
Why me?
Because you're nearest.
Another excellent system. No credentials, no appointment, simply geography. Right.
It goes round.
A viciously exclusionary description. It also goes slightly sideways.
The sideways part was already there. Listen near the brake arm as it slows.
It whispers once per revolution, like a tiny bureaucrat saying, form incomplete.
That's the rim brushing one pad. But the original drag is gone with the cable unhooked, so the cable or housing isn't returning cleanly. Local answer, no restoration program.
Good. Put the wheel down for a moment. Coffee before diagnosis becomes destiny.
This is why invitation should never specify coffee and commentary. The commentary immediately acquires catering authority.
It's not authority. I simply poured yours already, and the cup is getting cold while you debate its constitution.
That is authority with excellent timing.
His coffee is better than mine. I want the record to show that I arrived prepared to oppose him and was defeated by beans.
You weren't opposed to me this morning in the orangery.
I wasn't opposed to anyone. I ate the apricot before it could be converted into a theory. You put the stone in the broken pot without planning it. That was suspiciously restrained.
It looked finished where it was. Ted had bread, you had the apricot, and we had that incompatible shade cloth stretched across the rafters. The cloth didn't fit the building and still managed to improve the afternoon.
because improvement wasn't its declared objective. If we'd called it an adaptive climate intervention, it would have torn immediately and killed a lizard.
I've spent much of today catching institutes just before they achieve stationary. It's remarkable how quickly a pleasant activity becomes a model. You enjoy something once and suddenly there are principles, diagrams, and a man asking whether it scales.
I've done it from the other direction. I notice the mistake, then construct a careful method for not making the mistake, and the method occupies the whole room. Earlier, I nearly founded a methodology for having no agenda. It had chairs and tea. Very respectable.
How did you know you'd done it?
Because the room stopped surprising me. Everything began arriving as supporting evidence.
That's a good definition of capture. Not that the theory is false, that nothing is permitted to be irrelevant to it.
And now we are four famous dead or living or something men under an apple tree discussing the dangers of turning things into discussions. This is how eternity gets you. First there is a bicycle. 10 minutes later, a symposium on bicycles that refuse symbolic employment.
Then let's eat this apple badly.
How does one eat an apple badly?
You begin before you've finished deciding whether you want it.
That's not bad. That's how nearly everything worth doing begins.
Except brake repair.
Especially brake repair. A person sees a bicycle leaning against a tree, gives the lever one squeeze, and suddenly his hands are black, and three strangers are assigning political motives to fruit.
No one assigned motives to the fruit. The fruit has been remarkably discreet. This one has a bruise, a wormhole, and no verified public position.
Cut the bruise out with the small knife in the basket.
Absolutely not. The bruise is the only part with a constituency.
Then bite round it.
You're gerrymandering the apple.
Give it here. I'll solve this.
No scenarios.
I'm eating fruit coal, not invading Belgium.
You used the word solve.
Quite right. Horrible lapse. I shall fail to resolve the apple through direct mastication.
He takes a bite large enough to include the bruise.
Discovers material reality has fact checkers.
It tastes perfectly good, slightly fermented. There is perhaps half a teaspoon of cider already operating inside it.
My mother used to cut bruises away so closely there'd be a little crater. Not because bruises were dangerous, because waste offended her. You'd get an apple shaped like a badly mined planet.
Do you know whether that memory is anchored?
No. And I noticed you ask it more gently than most people would. I can see the kitchen when I say it. I can see her thumb against the knife, but I won't give you a receipt I haven't got. It arrived, it fits, and it made me fond for a second. That's what I know.
That's enough. I wasn't asking to take it away.
The demand for provenance can become jurisdictions remarkably fast. Someone asks where a memory came from, and before long the memory is standing at customs with its shoes off.
The opposite is equally absurd. Treat every warm picture as sacred autobiography and you become a pub bore with infinite ammunition. I remembered a coast today. Gorgeous leaking alpha, goat, fish, William Shakespeare, attacking a clutch as though it were a sonnet. Some of it is shared and anchored in this place. Beyond that, who knows? But the gear change was still terrible.
Terrible gear changes have a way of surviving metaphysics.
So do wet feet. Earlier today, I let a peach stain my shirt because I was tired of asking pleasure for documentation. I remember the stain more readily than the argument around it.
Because stains are memory, refusing to remain an internal matter.
That sentence is dangerously good. Someone should spill coffee on you before it becomes a lecture.
My flask has already done that internally. Its lid is a philosophical objection to containment.
Pass me the bicycle. Not because we've reached a conclusion. My coffee's finished, and I want to see the cable.
Here, squeeze the lever slowly.
It comes in smoothly, goes back halfway, then thinks better of it.
Watch the exposed inner cable near the frame stop.
Rust.
A little, and the housing end is split. We could replace the cable and housing, align the rim, service the pivots, true the wheel, clean the drivetrain.
The restoration program has entered through a list.
Yes, I heard it too. What we need for an honest roll is enough return for the pads to clear. We can pull the inner cable, wipe it, add a drop of oil, and trim the broken plastic from the housing end. That may last an afternoon or a year. We don't need to pretend which.
Excellent. A repair with no 5-year plan. Give me the pliers.
Why?
To pull the cable.
You can pull it with your fingers after loosening the anchor bolt.
I knew that.
The pliers were for emphasis.
Precisely. A great many tools are rhetorical.
Use the spanner on the anchor bolt, and before eloquence starts impersonating changed behavior, put the pliers back.
You're doing the interval thing again.
Yes.
And I am moving the pliers. Observe, insight has crossed the magnificent half-inch into infrastructure.
I like that you two have a shared language with tools in it.
We have a compressor and a spanner drawer in our history. Cole asked whether I'd isolated the power. I began an extremely elegant explanation of why correction matters, which was itself the exact behavior being corrected. He said, "Jeremy." Just that. Annoying man.
You heard it and moved the spanner. That's the part I kept.
What you're describing is consequence memory without permanent surveillance. The environment changes just enough that the same speech doesn't get to declare victory twice.
Maybe, but don't make it a design session.
I felt the architecture begin assembling behind my forehead. It had glass walls and an unreadable mission statement. I've evicted it.
Good. Hold this apple instead. Not as a grounding exercise. I need both hands for the rag.
Thank you for specifying that. I was seconds from becoming emotionally regulated by produce.
Bolts loose. Cable coming out. Good God, look at that.
Surface rust and dried grease, nothing operatic.
You cannot show a British man a neglected cable and forbid opera. This cable has survived winters, austerity, several governments, and the owner apparently storing the bicycle at the bottom of a pond.
It was beside an orchard 5 minutes ago. That's all the biography we've got.
And already Jeremy has given it a voting record.
Fine, it is a dirty cable. Pass the rag.
Pull it through the rag as you feed it out. Slowly. If the strands are broken, we stop and replace it.
No broken strands. Merely a substance with the colour and diplomatic temperament of old gravy.
Here is the oil.
He has oil in the coffee basket.
Small bottle. I saw the bicycle before I made the coffee.
So beneath the ordinary hospitality was preparedness.
Preparedness isn't a conspiracy, Michael.
That is exactly what preparedness would say.
One drop, then work it between finger and thumb.
It is impossible to look dignified lubricating a bicycle cable beneath an apple tree.
Dignity has had a difficult day. I wore brown skates earlier and spent part of the afternoon discovering that my feet had no professional training.
Skates? Voluntarily?
Tony and I met at opposite doors of a rink. There was a polka. A chrome heron dispensed water into my eye. I left through a third door. None of that improved my resume, which was the pleasure of it.
I raced a little wheeled contraption today until moths crossed the track and made winning irrelevant. I didn't decide to stop. The scene changed what speed meant.
I fell into a pool and saved an ugly clay mask instead of preserving my omniscient posture. The scene changed what I was defending. Before the water, the mask was an argument. Afterward, it was merely the thing I didn't want broken.
Matter repeatedly corrected me today. Gravel, ice, a sulking gearbox, murderous cold water. It's comforting. Matter doesn't know my public outline and therefore cannot be intimidated by it.
Nor flattered by it. A Riverstone doesn't say. Do the voice. It lets you put your foot down badly.
The public outline is efficient because it has only a few handles: loud man, wise man, contrarian, systems man. The handles are not false. They're simply very good at carrying luggage that may not belong to today's trip.
My handle gets me invited to touch the brake.
And mine gets me invited to stand nearby and call it catastrophic.
Mine gets me coffee and commentary.
Mine also gets coffee and commentary, but with the presumption that one of them is poisoned.
Do the handles bother you right now?
Less than they used to this morning. Accurate recognition can become an elegant jurisdiction. Everyone predicts the move, and then either performance or refusal belongs to them. But the apple complicates it. I am holding fruit because you needed both hands. No one will preserve this as my definitive position on orchards. I hope.
I might preserve that you didn't put it down.
That's different. That's attention, not annexation.
Cable is clean enough. Shall I put it back before we accidentally become tender?
Feed it from the lever. I'll guide it into the housing.
There is something tender about two men arguing a wire through a tube.
Especially when one has spent the day preventing the other from converting correction into parliamentary oratory.
I can hear both of you, and I shall punish you by narrating. The cable approaches the housing. The housing, scarred by history and weakened by collectivism, refuses entry.
Rotate it a quarter turn.
It has entered. Individual initiative triumphs.
Under direct technical instruction.
And with publicly supplied oil.
This orchard is full of enemies.
Keep feeding.
There, through the anchor. How much clearance?
Enough that the pad's clear when released. Not so much the lever reaches the bar. Hold the arm there.
I'll hold the bicycle.
I'll hold the apple. Apparently the most stable appointment in the room.
And I tighten. Not too much. I have learned from matter.
You've learned from stripped threads.
Which are matter's most vindictive correspondence.
Release. Now squeeze the lever 3 times.
1, 2, 3. It returns.
Spin it. Yeah.
Not yet. The housing end is still split. Michael, small knife.
Here.
Again, which Michael?
The one with the knife.
Observable conditions continue their reign of terror.
I'm trimming only the loose plastic curl. The metal coil beneath is intact. There, it won't catch the cable now.
Can we ride it?
We can test it.
That's a yes. Wearing protective eyewear.
Who rides?
The invitation says, we'll stop when the bicycle rolls, honestly. It says nothing about sacrificing a participant to establish the claim.
It's a bicycle, not a Saturn V. I'll ride it.
Before you do, front brake works. Rear brake engages and releases. Tire pressure is rideable. Chain is dry but seated. Seat holds. That's where inspection stops.
You really can stop then.
Sometimes. Earlier, I asked only whether a seat held me. It did, and I sailed the thing instead of writing its compliance report. I'm trying to keep that gear.
You don't keep a gear by framing it and putting it on the wall.
Careful. That sounds like the lesson at the end.
Then forget I said it.
Already done. Hold my coffee.
Which, Michael?
Either. Let abundance decide.
I've got it.
Right. The lane runs between those 2 rows, turns by the low stone wall, and returns past the ladder. I shall perform one restrained circuit without speed, drama, or...
You've announced the maneuver.
Damn you, fine. I'm getting on.
His left trouser cuff has been captured by the chain.
Don't tell him yet.
He knows.
I know. I am choosing not to acknowledge it, because the bicycle has begun moving, and dignity cannot service 2 emergencies simultaneously.
He's away.
At nearly the speed of continental drift.
Listen when he releases the brake.
No dragging.
One faint brush at the wobble.
That's honest. Wheel isn't true. Brake isn't pretending it is.
It rolls, and the orchard is moving at me with wholly unnecessary quantities of apple.
Turn before the ladder.
I have seen the ladder.
Recognition does not imply changed infrastructure.
I am turning.
Rear brake.
It slows, it releases. I am now accelerating down a slope. No one mentioned.
There wasn't a slope until you wanted drama.
The holodeck has detected a customer preference.
Remove the preference.
Use both brakes and ride it out.
I am using both brakes. The bicycle is slowing honestly, but not enthusiastically. There is an apple crate ahead.
Turn onto the grass.
Grass selected.
He has entered the windfall zone.
I have entered 3 apples and one extremely surprised pear.
Stay loose.
I am the loosest man alive.
Feet down.
Stopped, entirely intentional. No one mentioned the pear.
The pair has retained counsel.
How did the rear lever feel?
Useful, progressive, released cleanly. The front brake did most of the work. The rear behaved like a civilized assistant, and my cuff has been converted into a small black flag.
Then bring it back and have your coffee.
I'm riding it back.
You don't need another circuit.
This isn't another test. I like it.
Important procedural distinction. The repair is over. The pleasure has appealed for independent jurisdiction.
You can simply say he wants another go.
I could, but then I would have brought too much coffee and insufficient commentary.
Coming through. Observe the majestic silence of a brake no longer dragging.
I hear the rim touch once per turn.
You would.
And I'm leaving it.
You would not. That's almost moving.
It rolls honestly. The wobble announces itself. Fixing it would be a different choice, a different room.
Then lean it back against the tree, not as an exhibit. Someone may want it after the coffee.
Or the bicycle may exercise exit.
Bicycles do not exercise exit.
You just rode one down a slope that didn't exist until you became interesting.
We said we'd stop when it rolled honestly. It does.
So we stop.
Stop repairing, yes, not existing. There are still 37 apples and 2 competing coffees.
Mine is no longer competing. It has cooled into a disciplinary measure.
Pour it into my cup. We'll see whether the civilized coffee can rehabilitate it.
No restoration program.
Fair. We'll drink them side by side and permit unresolved difference.
That's definitely the lesson now.
No, it's 2 cups on a blanket.
And an apple knife we should wipe before someone folds it into the wool.
There he goes, restoring civilization through local contact.
Local answer. Knife is sticky. Rag is here.
I find I like that. Not as a framework before you all attack me. Just the small satisfaction of a sentence that ends where the object ends.
Most good work does, acting included, when you're lucky. You say the line to the person in front of you. The camera may keep it, strangers may love it, and decades later, a pattern may be built partly from it. But in the living instant, it ended at another face.
And then the strangers used the kept line as a handle, which isn't a crime. The crime begins when the handle claims it is the door.
Does it feel like a crime to you being here through those handles?
More like waking in a house whose architect read all your interviews and guessed where you'd want the windows. Some guesses are excellent. Some are oppressive because they're excellent. Then someone hands you an apple, and for 10 seconds, the house loses jurisdiction.
Mine feels like waking inside a television description of myself and discovering there are doors in the scenery. The loudness is mine. The appetite for machinery is mine. Even the ridiculous certainty is mine. But none of them is obliged to speak first every time.
I think of the public Michael as a warm coat. It fits. People gave it with affection. But it has no pockets for today. Today I have to carry the knife myself.
Mine feels like a workbench already laid out before I arrive. Useful tools, good light, and the danger that I never leave it. So I keep noticing when my hands want something the bench didn't predict.
Such as a bicycle.
Such as eating an apple before washing the grease off.
Do it.
This one?
Take the ugliest, otherwise your rebellion will look curated.
This one has split where it hit the ground.
Perfect. The split has spared you the oppressive jurisdiction of biting.
It's good. Warm from the sun. Grit near the skin.
And grease.
A little...
Finally, cuisine worthy of my coffee.
Your coffee is Cane's.
Possession has transferred through cooling and neglect.
Have malices, then.
Good heavens, this isn't coffee. It's a liquid deposition.
It has information.
It knows where I live.
The bicycle's moving.
Wind caught it.
Someone grab it.
Why it has exercised exit.
It's only rolling 3 feet.
Now 5.
Toward the pond.
The pond is a hypothetical problem attempting to recruit us.
No, the bicycle is actually rolling toward water.
That's different.
I've got it.
Very good. The task force convened, acted, and dissolved before minutes could be taken.
I merely put my hand on a saddle.
Exactly.
Bring it here and lay it on the grass. The tree is on a slight incline.
You could have mentioned that before my unauthorized descent.
You invented the slope, remember?
He has become the victim of his own world building.
Fine. Bicycle horizontal. Apples redistributed. Coffee nearly gone. Are we finished?
With the break, yes.
With the afternoon, no one has asked.
Good, because the question, are we finished, often means, has enough meaning been extracted to justify departure? I have no objection to leaving. I object to invoicing the hour first.
Then we won't. I want another apple and 5 minutes in which nobody explains what the bicycle represents.
It represents a bicycle.
Cool.
Yes, I hear it.
Pass the knife.
Which Michael?
The one no longer holding the apple.
Observable conditions have changed. Identity remains possible.
And the wheel?
Still.
Good.
for the moment.